Good morning, world. It's Ivan Mayer here again. Sorry I did not make a video yesterday at night. I woke up late and I was very tired. I just had no time. I worked on my book with my younger brother and I was very tired. That's why I did not make a video later at night yesterday, obviously. But I'll make a long video for you for this morning, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. So I just binged, I don't know. I just binged like 100 pages of the book. Anything you can imagine. The making of Middle Earth, obviously by Peter Jackson. Man, is it an amazing book, man. It's so good. I took a break off reading my screenwriting book, and I've just been binging the book. I'm already like almost halfway through the book, man. It's a 540-page book. I only read it for a good 3 days now. I'm already 230 pages into the book. It's pretty much the whole journey of Peter Jackson's journey of Middle Earth, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Writing the script, casting the actors, obviously getting the rights for Lord of the Rings. Obviously, he needed Miramax. Peter Jackson needed Harvey Weinstein to greenlight his movie. Obviously, it talked about how Peter Jackson wanted to do what he wanted to do King Kong 2 with Universal, obviously, but they backed down on the deal, obviously. And I believe Disney too wanted to do Lord of the Rings, but they backed out of the deal. And the New Line said, "Oh, why would you do 2 movies when you can do 3?" Because Miramax originally wanted Peter to do 2 movies. One movie. They wanted him to do 1 movie, and Peter's like, "Yeah, I won't work with 1 movie." And they eventually agreed to 2. And then New Line, when Peter Jackson mailed New Line, like, "Why would you do 2 movies when there's 3 books?" And they gave him they gave him the budget, obviously, and was able to do his Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's an amazing story, man, of how Peter became the man he is today, obviously. Another one's when you go back and watch the Lord of the Rings documentary, the Peter Jackson you see then is not the same Peter Jackson now. Peter Jackson wasn't that big of a director back then. He did independent movies. He wasn't that rich. Now he's a fucking billionaire and he's fucking big. You know what I'm saying? Amazing story. And from what I've read, so far, I'm like, holy shit, like, Peter Jackson them shot for what? They shot for like 274 days they shot, man, in the movie. I heard, yeah, blood, sweat, and tears, yeah, man. They started shooting the movie in October 1999 to December, I think. December 2000, I think. They ended shooting, yeah, man. They shot all 3 movies back to back. You're looking at something like that for Zanus. You're looking at something like that for Zanus. You're looking at like a 250, 60, 70 day shoot for Zanus too. Because I'm going to do the same thing what Peter did for Lord of the Rings. I'm shooting all my movies back to back, obviously. The reason why I'm doing that is because you can't shoot movies every couple of years. No, these actors are all going to get older. You won't get as good. The story won't flow as well. You got to shoot it all back to back. Comments. If you have a movie like Lord of the Rings where it's one story told in three separate books, whatever it is. You need to shoot it all back to back. Otherwise, if you shoot one volume and you wait a couple years, Peter Jackson's going to get older. Obviously, he's going to be in his 70s. All the actors are all like getting older. Obviously, you're not going to get as good of a movie, and your story won't flow as well. If you shoot it all back to back, that we get it over with. So that's the best way to do it, obviously. If you're doing if you're telling one story in 3 different movies, you shoot it all back to back. It's common sense. Otherwise, if you don't, you're looking at like 8, 9 years of shooting, 10 years of shooting. All these actors are 10 years older. Your movie won't be as good, Sims, huh? Yeah, I can tell that, yeah, Jackson was exhausted. Yeah, man. I'm like, yeah, shooting a movie is blood, sweat, and tears, man. It's especially Zanus. Shooting Zanus, but hence why I'm gonna keep saying this. Hence why you gotta pay your actors or millions. Hence that way they work hard for you. Shooting for 9+. It might even be longer. It might even take 10 months to shoot the movie. Maybe a year, perhaps. Maybe 12 months, perhaps, to shoot the Zanus movie. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah, man. Because Lord of the Rings started in October and ended in December, and you also had reshoots. And Lord of the Rings is pretty much the same month as Zanus, right? You're looking at like 11, 12-hour movie. Like my Zanus movie will be as long as the extended Lord of the Rings trilogy, all 3 movies. That's how long my movie will be. And you're looking at like 9 months of shooting, perhaps even more, 10 months. I'm gonna ask Peter, like, how long do you think it'll take to film these 3 volumes? Like, you read my book. My book is not as long as Lord of the Rings, but you only followed 20% of J.R.R. Tolkien's book. How long do you think it'll take me to film this like 11-hour movie? Oh, Ivan, if you're filming all back to back, Ivan, you're looking at something like as long as Lord of the Rings, if not longer, Ivan. You're looking at probably maybe like 10 months, perhaps, of shooting. Yeah, 9 months. I don't think 9 months is enough time, Ivan. You're gonna need more time. You're gonna need at least like 10, 11 months. I'm like, holy shit, that's a long time. Yeah, Ivan, trust me, it's blood, sweat, and tears, man. It's a lot of work. Hence why you pay Peter a lot of money. That way he works hard for you, obviously. If you pay him his 10 mil bonus for pre-production, he'll work really hard. Obviously. He'll work really hard, obviously. Yeah. He'll work really hard. And he won't slack off. And he's getting his $65 million during, 10 months of filming. 9 months of filming. Hugh Jackson was getting his nice multi-million check. He'll work hard. And he knows he's going to strike it rich. With the royalties, he'll work his ass off, Peter. Yeah. Hence why you pay the Zanus actors or millions. Don't pay them shitty money or records. The only ones who I heard got paid a lot of money were what? Were Christopher Lee, Ian McKellen. I heard Viggo Mortensen got his millions too. I heard he made like maybe, I don't know. I heard Viggo made maybe like about $1 million or something like that. Maybe $1.5 million or something like that. Okay paycheck, but like they didn't get paid the kind of money I'm paying the Zanus actors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, but essentially speaking, the only actor who got a lot of money really was like Ian McKellen. He's the one who got a lot of money. Everyone else got way less. They didn't make as much money, obviously. I read in the book how Sean Astin was shocked by the $250,000 that Warner Bros. Offered him. Yeah. I read in the book that Sean Astin complained about his shitty paycheck. Yeah, he only got $250K for the 3 movies, man. Like, he only made like $120, $130K in his bank after taxes and his age. Just shitty paycheck, man. It's a nice paycheck for a crewman, but it's not a good paycheck for a fucking actor. And Sean Astin still destroyed the role. He still worked hard for Peter, and he destroyed the role. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So Sean Astin, who got $250K for the movie, and he even complained about it. That's what the guy says in the book. Yeah, Sean Astin was shocked by his $250,000 contract for the 3 movies. And I believe Dominic Monaghan and all of them also got $250K too. They probably got about maybe $200K for the movie, man. They got shitty money, those actors, and they destroyed the role. They did blood, sweat, and tears. I read the book now, and I started to read them. Holy shit, man! Like, filming a movie is blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah, man. Filming a movie is blood, sweat, and tears. It's a lot of work, man. Especially like a movie like Zanus, you're looking at like 9 months. 9 months of filming. Something crazy, man. Perhaps even more. Perhaps even 10, 11 months of filming. And that's why you pay the actors of rich millions. That way they work hard for you, obviously. Pay the actors of rich millions. That way they work hard for you, obviously. And you give them a small piece of your... Give the Zanus actors only your stars, obviously. The ones who are not my stars do not get what? The ones who are pretty major and minor, those ones don't get a piece. Like the actor for Lithius and Burmans, I'm not giving them a piece of the profits. Only Aratat for Fool. Those are the only animal characters who I'm giving a piece of the profits, and my other like 13, 12 my other 12 major stars, they all get a small like 0.01% of the profits, obviously. Whereas what? That way they work harder for me and they destroy the role. These actors know they're gonna make a nice, I don't know, 4 million bucks in royalties $7 million in royalties, $10 million in royalties, 13, 14, 15, $16 million in royalties. They're gonna work harder for you because they struck it rich. They're gonna completely destroy the roll-offs. So even though they're doing blood, sweat, and tears, because I read the book and I'm like, holy shit, man! Like I can only imagine how stressed out the actors were in Peter Jackson was. They filmed in the middle of nowhere for what? For almost a year, man. For a year. They started in August, in October 1999. They ended, I believe, in December or October of 2000. I believe they ended filming, and they flew everyone back for reshoots. I can only imagine. Yeah, they said Peter Jackson was so exhausted. Yeah, I can only imagine how tired Peter Jackson was. You know what I'm saying? And he pulled it off. Yeah, that's why you're gonna see Peter Jackson, if he's chosen, obviously. When you see him in my movie, you're gonna see him struggling a little bit more than he did in Lord of the Rings because he's a lot older now. He's like, by the time he films Zane's, he'll be pushing 70. Peter, he'll be like 69, 68. Peter Jackson. I don't know if I hire him. He's 61 now. So if I hire him in 2020, if I hire him in 2026, that's 4 years from now. He'll be 65. So by the time he films Zane's, he'll be like 67. Peter, so young, but you'll see him struggling a little bit with you. He'll work really hard. He'll work harder for me than what he even did for Lord of the Rings, but you'll see him struggling maybe a little bit more with the work. You might see days when he's very exhausted because he's not as young as he used to be. When he did Lord of the Rings, Peter was in his like late 30s. He was like 39 years old when he filmed Lord of the Rings. He was like 40, 39 years old when he filmed Lord of the Rings. It's like 30, yeah, he was like 38, Peter. He was young. He was a young dude back then. That's why he was able to manage that harsh labor. But now, when I hire Peter Jackson, you're going to see, oh my God, Peter's not the same Peter that he was in Lord of the Rings. He's a lot older now. Yeah, he's almost 30 years older. He's a lot older now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, Peter, do you remember? Do you still remember Lord of the Rings? Yeah, I remember 30 years ago. I remember. You know, so I might ask the crewman, hey, do you guys all? I might ask Barry Osborne, hey, do you guys remember filming Lord of the Rings? Yeah, I remember filming Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 30 years. I remember it like yesterday. Yeah. And reading Peter Jackson's story, something tells me I might end up choosing him over Mel Gibson, man. I might choose Mel Gibson over him. Because the story of Peter Jackson creating that masterpiece, man, is a fucking amazing story, man. It's an amazing story, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've even read in the book that some of the crewmen quit. They ended up quitting, obviously. I'm not surprised why some of them quit because they're doing grueling work for peanuts. If you're doing blood, sweat, and tears work for I don't know, a couple of years and you're only getting $30K, like I wouldn't be surprised if some crewmen quit, obviously. Some of the lighting crew quit, I heard, in Lord of the Rings, yeah, man. Because they got their shitty paycheck, obviously. Obviously, right? They got the shitty paycheck, obviously. Yeah. But there's a good chance I'm gonna hire a lot of assistants in the crewmen are gonna be helping out my 7th team, obviously, to handle all the businessmen. Barry Osborne has experience. You can have Fran, Peter's partner. You can have her be assistant producer. You can have him help out the 7th team, and I'll have other assistants in the crewmen, like in the supervisors who handle the sections to help him out, help out Peter and all them, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Hence why I'm hiring Peter or Mel Gibson, right? You know what I'm saying, if I hire Peter, he's gonna take that stress on because he knows. Hey, I know all the ins and outs of the movie. You know what I'm saying? I know I know everything about the business. You know what I'm saying? I know about the business too, but I don't have any experience running like handling a big project. Hence why you hire a head of production who worked in Hollywood. That way he knows what he's doing. And you hire Peter Jackson, and you can have Barry Osborne who has experience to handle all the business, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Handling all the business, making sure, you know what I'm saying? You can have Barry Osborne help. I'll have an assistant accountant, the crewman. You can hire an assistant accountant to help out my accountant to make sure everyone got paid and make sure the crewmen got paid. Yeah. And have the actors sleep in brand new trailers, obviously. It just depends where we film. If we film in a studio, I can have the actors stay in a hotel, but a cheaper hotel. To save money, I can have the actors stay in a nice $250 a night hotel. The only time I'll have the actors stay in suites is during the 3rd year. And Peter Jackson, I'll have him stay in suites during the 3rd year, obviously. During the 1st year, sorry. And I'll have the actors stay in suites during the 3rd year when they're training in Vancouver, obviously. But when Peter Jackson's in Switzerland, overseeing everything, I'll have him stay in and have him sleep. It depends where he is. If he's gonna have to constantly fly to different locations to oversee everything in the 17, to oversee all the different sets. Because some sets we built in the studio, in the city. Some sets we build on location. He has to handle all that. Hence why if he's in a hotel, Peter, if he's overseeing the studio set being built, you can have Peter stay in a hotel, or you can rent up an area and have him sleep in trailers. But if you want to afford to have the actors stay in hotels when they're filming in a studio and all stuff, rent cheap ones. Rent like $250 a night, $180, $200 a night hotels, which is still pretty good. It's pretty good. That way you save money. You can't be stupid and have them stay at suites. No, it's going to drain your money. Have them stay in cheaper $200 a night, $250 nights, which is a nice room. As I read in the thing, it says some of the actors stayed in hotels. Yeah, because some of the scenes they filmed were in studio, obviously, and in studio you're most likely near a nearby hotel. You have to have the actors stay in a hotel. Whereas when we film on location, the actors obviously have to sleep in trailers, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So all the scenes where the actors film on location. Most of the scenes will be filmed on location. The actors will sleep in trailers, obviously, and all the scenes when the actors are filming in a studio in near the city or something, you can have the actors stay in a hotel, a cheaper hotel. I'm gonna tell Barry and all. Look, whenever we all film in the studio, have all the actors staying in cheaper hotels. A nice 3-bedroom hotel for like $400, $300 a night. That way you save money. With a $900 budget, I can easily afford it. It's not a problem. That's when there's a good chance some of the actors are gonna be. There's a good chance there's going to be multiple. There's going to be what? There's going to be multiple shooting going on, obviously, like it did for Lord of the Rings. I don't know. While I film my scene, some of the actors are filming another scene in a different location, and you're going to have to rent helicopters. Rent a good, 20 helicopters to fly in all the actors to all these different locations. Peter to all these different locations. Yeah, that's why you need assistant director. You can have Peter direct one scene, obviously, and you can have Guillermo del Toro direct another scene. You can have Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni help him out. You can have your first shoot director direct the other scenes. But I'm like Peter, even Peter, people like, yeah, if you want to make it work for 9 months of shooting, you're gonna have to shoot like multiple scenes at a time, man. So like some stuff in volume 3 we have to shoot. I'm gonna ask Peter, you think it's best we just film it in a chronological order, like Volume 1 first, then Volume 2, Volume 3, or do you want to do what you did for Lord of the Rings? While you're filming Volume 1, you're filming some Volume 3 scenes, and you're filming some Volume 2 scenes if you want to do that. No, Ivan, we can film it in chronological order if you want. And it's not a problem, obviously, yeah. You film it I prefer to film in chronological order than what? Than film multiple scenes at the same time. But if you film multiple scenes at the same time, you'll end production quicker, obviously. You'll end production much faster, you see what I'm saying? But if you do that, you're gonna have to trust your first shooting director. Okay, Peter, if we end up filming multiple scenes, like filming Volume 1, and while we're doing that, we're filming Volume 2, obviously, make sure you give your ideas to Guillermo del Toro and what? At the first shoot, second director. That way they know they have the same vision as you. That's why I want them reading Peter Jackson's notes. That way they know. Because the first shoot and second director are gonna be helping Peter out a lot with the crowd, the large crowd scenes, the action sequences. They're going to be helping Peter Jackson out a lot with those stuff. The war, they're going to be helping him out with a lot with that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, you're looking at blood, sweat, and tears for fucking Zetas, man. I don't think 9 months is even enough. I think it might be longer, man. You're probably looking at maybe 11 months of shooting, maybe. I might extend it to 11 months just in case. I'm scared I might not have enough time, man, to shoot those 3 volumes of Xanus. Because for Xanus, I'm going to be following the majority of the book, man. Whereas Peter Jackson did not follow the majority of Lord of the Rings. He cut out like 80% of what's in the book. Whereas for my movie, we're actually gonna follow like 75% of the story. And Xanus is like a 600-page book, man. It's longer than Fellowship of the Ring, the whole Fellowship of the Ring book. If Peter were to follow Fellowship of the Ring word to word, it'd be like a 9-hour movie. It'd be like a 7-hour movie, Lord of the Rings, 6-hour movie, or Fellowship of the Ring. And my movie will be longer than Lord of the Rings, guys. You're looking at like a 12 hour movie plus, man. A lot. Maybe even 14 hours. If it's 14 hours, I'm gonna tell Peter, I'm gonna tell my special effects team, cut it down to 12 hours. I'll release a special edition in a couple years. If it's like 14 hours long of footage, right? Yeah. And what I'll do is I can have Peter Jackson go over the footage, obviously, while we're filming. You can have Peter go over some of the footage, obviously, but I'm like, Peter, I can have you, Guillermo del Toro, and John Favreau and Dave Filoni go over the footage, obviously, but I do not want to go over the footage with you because I don't want to spoil the fucking movies, spoil the surprise for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because most directors, they usually watch the movies before they even get released. Directors, was I don't want to do that because I don't want to spoil the surprise. I'm gonna trust Peter and Guillermo del Toro. I'm gonna trust them. Peter, I trust you. I trust you're gonna turn my book into an amazing masterpiece movie. Obviously, you have to trust Peter. Obviously, if you don't trust him as a director, as a studio head, I have to trust Peter. Obviously, you have to trust Peter. You have to trust Mel Gibson. You have to trust Guillermo del Toro. You have to trust John Favreau. You have to trust the first unit directors, the second directors. You're gonna make a good movie. As long as you have everyone prepped, and you pay them a lot of money, everyone will work hard and you'll get a good movie. Whereas for Lord of the Rings, I heard some of the crewmen quit, man, while they were filming. Some of the lighting crewmen quit because what? They're what? The work was too much and they got their shitty money, obviously. Yeah. That's why some of the crewmen in Lord of the Rings quit, obviously. Because they all got their shitty fucking money. And Hollywood, Warner Bros. Gave them shittier food. They gave them not bad food. They gave them pretty good food. Like, meat, potatoes, and pasta. And I heard some of the actors when they filmed in studio, some of that, they would go out to the bar and drink. You know what I'm saying? They'd have a nice dinner and all stuff. But like, Skyscraper is better than Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, you're looking at blood, sweat, and tears. I might extend it to 11 months, man, just in case. 10 months or 11 months of shooting, man. Because Zanus is going to be a longer movie than even Lord of the Rings. Because Peter only followed 20% of what's in the book, man. Whereas I'm following like the full 600-page novel. I'm going to follow, man. Yeah, man. Think about it. The Hobbit. The Hobbit is only a 200-page book, and yet the whole series is like 9 hours plus. Whereas my book is 600 pages. And I'm not gonna cut out a bunch of scenes in my book like Peter Jackson of Lord. No, I'm gonna follow the book. Peter Jackson will tell me, Ivan, I recommend you don't cut out a lot of scenes in your book, man. Otherwise, you can ruin the story. Yes, if you cut out a lot of scenes in the book and change a lot of things, you can ruin the story. Hence why you gotta be careful. Peter, I don't mind making changes, making some changes, obviously, in the story, obviously. Adding more dialogue about the history. I can add more details with Tacius when he talks about the history of the past kings. Why they doubted and all that stuff. Yeah, you can add stuff obviously to make it more interesting, but don't change the story. Stick to the story. Follow the story, Peter. Peter asked me, Ivan, yeah, for your book, your book is not J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings book. Your book is much easier to follow than his book. His book was a fucking drag to follow. Because he has so much things going on, so much land, so much characters. It's crazy, yeah. Whereas your book is much easier to follow. Your book is your scenes are so much more easier to follow, Ivan, than fucking J.R.R. Tolkien's book. J.R.R. Tolkien has so many fucking lands. I have to cut out half the lands, yeah. Whereas your book is easier to follow. You only have like six lands. You have forests. You have mountains. It's easier to follow than J.R.R. Tolkien's book, obviously. And because I paid Peter his 10 mil bonus for what, and I'm giving him perks, staying at suites, limo driver, and all you can eat buffet every day, obviously. And I'm giving him weekends off. He'll work harder for me than one even for Lord of the Rings. As for Lord of the Rings, Peter only made like $10 million for pre-production and production. He made his $10 million and then he negotiated for a piece of the profits for the 3 movies. And that's how he struck it rich, obviously. See what I'm saying? Yeah. I recommend you guys pick up that book, man. Ian Nathan, anything you can imagine, The Makings of Middle-earth, Peter Jackson. Just say Ian Nathan, The Makings of Middle-earth, and you'll see it on Amazon. You can, if it runs out of stock on Amazon, you can purchase the what? You can purchase the ebook, obviously, the Kindle ebook if you want. Kindle never runs out of stock, right? You can purchase the ebook for cheaper, like $11. You can read it on your laptop or your iPad. It's an amazing book, man. It's about the life of Peter Jackson's journey of how he got the rights of Lord of the Rings. I'm saying Saul Zaentz owned the rights of Lord of the Rings, and then Harvey Weinstein eventually got the rights, obviously, from Saul Zaentz. You know what I'm saying? He was and Harvey Weinstein was a small what? He was a small investor in the movie, obviously, and what? And he originally wanted Lord of the Rings to be one movie. And then Peter's like, yeah, one movie won't work with Lord of the Rings. Okay, he's like, okay, fine, two movies. And Peter Jackson was looking for funders, obviously, for he was looking for distributors and investment partners, obviously. And New Line ended. He had a meeting with New Line, obviously. New Line's like, why would you do two movies if you have three books? And they greenlighted the three movies, and they gave Peter his like $200 million plus budget. You get the journey of how he casted all his actors. Originally, he wanted Sean Connery as Gandalf, and then I heard like New Line Cinema offered Sean Connery like a $6 to like $10 million salary per movie, and like I think it was like 15% of the profit of the gross, man. And Sean Connery would have made hundreds of millions of dollars off Lord of the Rings. Fucking stupid studios, man. Like, why would you give fucking Sean Connery 50% of the profit? That's all your fucking profits gone. It boggles my mind how Hollywood thinks when they pay these fucking actors. For my movie, it's fine because my movies are gonna gross tens of millions in profit. But if your movie's gonna make a couple $100 million in profit, why would you give an actor 15% of the fucking gross? It's like if you're gonna give an act 50% of the gross, that's fucking stupid. Stupid accounting on Hollywood's part. But sometimes Hollywood's so desperate, they know if we have this star in the movie, he will equal more profits for us. That's why they're crazy and they offer these actors crazy deals sometimes. And supposedly Sean Connery was like, yeah, I don't understand this script. Gandalf is not for me. And then that's when Peter Jackson decides to go with Ian McKellen, which was the right choice. I don't think Sean Connery would have done as good of a job as Ian McKellen. He passed away a couple of years ago, obviously. I don't think Sean Connery would have done as good of a job as Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen was a perfect Gandalf. He was a perfect casting choice. He was a perfect casting choice for what? For Gandalf. He has that beautiful legendary voice. His voice whenever Ian McKellen talks, when he speaks, it's like a voice of authority. That's why he's perfect Gandalf. I'm saying, yeah. Boom, Megan. You know what I'm saying? He has that voice of authority, obviously. That's why he was perfect for Gandalf, obviously. Obviously, right? Who do you think was the best casting choice? The best casting choice was Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen is what? He is Gandalf in the flesh, man. He was a perfect casting choice for Gandalf. Whereas everyone else, you can argue you could have had other actors for the role. You see what I'm saying? And Sean Bean. Sean Bean was really, really good for Boromir. But everyone else, there's other actors I can picture as the role, obviously. And Sean Astin. Sean Astin was what? Was perfect for Sam. They were all perfect for the role. But the most perfect for the role, in my opinion, don't hate me, is Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen destroyed the role of Gandalf, man. He fucking destroyed the role, man. Like when you see his acting, yeah, Ian McKellen steals the show out of all the actors in Lord of the Rings. When you see him, he has a presence on the screen. Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I see the actors with Ian McKellen, I always have that feeling everything's gonna be all right because Gandalf is Gandalf. You know what I'm saying? He has authority. He's powerful. Yeah, he's destroyed the role of Gandalf, man. The reason why, it's not surprising, he got paid the most money, hence why he destroyed the role the most, obviously. Ian McKellen got his nice $13 million. He made his nice $6+ million over taxes in his bank after 3 movies. He worked hard. He got a nice check, man. He got his millions in his bank. He could do good things with that money, man. Yeah, whereas all the other Lord of the Rings actors got their $200, $250, you know what I'm saying, $300, $400,000. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, man. So think about this. I read the book. The Lord of the Rings crewmen, they all worked their ass off. Barry Osborne worked his ass off, and I'm paying them more money than what they made for Lord of the Rings. They're gonna work double harder, even triple harder for me, because what I paid everyone more money, man. If you pay Lord of the Rings crewmen $150K, you don't have to worry about people in the crewmen quitting and all that stuff. I don't want to do this anymore. This is not worth the money. Yeah, hence why you pay them $150K. That way they work harder for you. I don't have to worry about the Lord of the Rings crewmen slacking off and complaining. Because Sean Astin, I heard complain about his check, man. He's like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, I'm working blood, sweat, and tears for peanuts for $250K. That's shit money. Yeah. That's how much I'm paying the supervisors for fucking Lord of the Rings. $250K. That's how much Sean Astin made for the fucking movie. But I told you because Warner Bros. Gave Peter a smaller budget, he couldn't afford. Peter couldn't afford to pay all the main actors their millions. No, you have to pay them their shitty money because what? They Warner Bros. Gave him a shitty iron budget. At the same time, Warner Bros. Wanted to put most of the money towards visual effects, special effects. That's why they paid. Okay, in order for us to have amazing effects in the movie, we have to sacrifice the actors, obviously, and pay them their shitty money. We only give Ian his 13. Give Ian the good chunk of the pie, and give everyone a small piece of pie. Pay them peanuts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because New Line gave Peter Jackson a shitty $90 million budget, man. It was a not bad budget for a movie like Lord of the Rings. You should put at least a good like 130 million plus towards each movie, man. For a movie like Lord of the Rings. And yet they gave Peter Jackson what? They gave Peter Jackson what? A shitty fucking $90 million budget each for the movie. I don't know, $270 million budget each. $270 million budget for the 3 movies. And he pulled it off, obviously. Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece, obviously. Now that I think about it, I kind of want to watch Return of the King again. But Return of the King is very sad, man. It really, really pisses me off, Return of the King, you know what I'm saying? I watched the 3 Hobbit movies. And I liked Destiny and Smog the best. You can argue Journey's better, but I like Smog a little bit better, obviously. And then Journey is a close second, and Battle of Arms was the worst, obviously. It was a little messy. And yeah. Obviously. And because Peter Jackson's getting his nice $65 million during, I don't know, the 9, 10, 11 months of filming, he'll work hard, man. Because he's getting his nice, like, $2 million, $1.8 million check every 2 weeks. He's getting his nice check, he'll work hard. You'll see Peter Jackson stressed out, obviously. You'll see Barry Osborne stressed out. You'll see Fran, if I hire her. You'll see Jon Favreau and Filoni stressed the fuck out, obviously. Because they're getting their millions, they're going to work hard for me. Dave Filoni's getting his $2.1 million. Jon Favreau's getting his $3.5 million. Barry Osborne got his $700K. Fran got her $700K, obviously. Pay those guys a lot of money because they're going to be doing a lot of dirty work. Barry Osborne's going to be taking that stress off Peter. He's going to be handling all the business. Pay Barry Osborne a nice $700,000. A nice paycheck for him. $750K you can pay him, and you pay Fran, Peter's partner, a nice $750K to help Peter, and I'll also have people in the crewman help him out too, the assistants. The assistants who I'm paying like $150K, have them help out Peter and all of them. Okay, I have my 7 team, and I also have Barry Osborne and Fran. You also have some people in the crewman who can help him out with some of the stuff. I might have an assistant accountant in the crewman, hire him as a contractor to help out your accountant. But I told you, my accountant won't need any help because I'm putting like $600K into a super advanced payment system. Whereas for Hollywood back then, I guarantee they paid the... Back then, there was no direct deposit. Back then, the actors got paid check, I believe. No, there was direct deposit back then, but I think the actors for Lord of the Rings got paid their checks. And I read online, I was right, I read the book, and they said, yeah, during production, a lot of people's wallets and items were lost. Yes, hence why you do not pay the actors fucking a check. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm kind of here.